Hey class, this is Mrs. Lynn. Welcome to another week of remote learning. I hope you guys had a great week last week. I know we couldn't meet on Friday for a virtual check-in, but hopefully you guys had no issues doing that BioQ project. I've gotten a couple of projects from some of you already. Make sure if you have finished the project that you turn it in using Google Classroom. Or I think you can even email it to me. That was an option I believe that I given you. And if you have any questions about it, don't forget to reach out to me through email or through the Zoom office hour. A couple of you have done that, and hopefully that has helped. So this week we're going to go into our final unit for the school year, and we're going to be doing some coding activities. Now, we have done coding before during Hour of Code, I believe in October or November of last year. But this week and the upcoming few weeks, you're going to be learning a few new concepts. We're going to dive in a little bit deeper, and you're going to be learning some new vocabulary when it comes to coding. So, hopefully, it won't be too challenging. But again, anytime you have issues with puzzles or something you have to solve, you can definitely email Mrs. Lynn. All right, so let's get you guys started. Now, this week, you're going to, again, go into Google Classroom to access your assignment. So I'm logged in right now on my screen as demo student. This is just a fake student account that I created in order to do these videos. And then once you're logged in using your GA school username and password, you're going to go into the fourth grade computer class. Now for demo student, everything he's got is in this remote learning classroom. You're going to go under classwork to look at this week's assignment. Okay. And it should read Remote Learning Week 6, Coding with Tynker. So Tynker is the website we're going to be going to do this assignment. So you're going to open up the assignment, okay, and the link to Tynker is going to be provided for you. Now, your screen will look a little bit different, okay, because when I'm done shooting this video, I'm going to actually upload it to this assignment page. Okay, so you're going to see a couple other things on this page. But for now, you're just going to click on this Tynker link, okay? Now my computer has been kind of slow today, so hopefully there won't be a lot of wait time between these screens. Um, but here we go. So Tynker Dragon Blast, you're going to click the Play Now button, okay? And that should take you to the activity. And you're going to see the different levels that you're going to be playing through as soon as the game loads. So I'm thinking it's probably not my computer or my internet, but Tynker that's extremely slow today because it's taken a while to get to these pages. All right, so I'm in the right activity, which is Dragon Blast, and I see all the different levels up here. Now, there are actually more puzzles to this activity than just 11, okay? But as you progress through the levels, more stages are going to show up. For today or for this week, we're only going to complete up to level 16. So after level 16, you can actually stop and log out, okay? So we're going to worry about that later. I'll show you when we get to that point. So before you even begin this activity, you need to go ahead and click log in because we want to be able to save your progress. Okay, so I clicked logged in there, and instead of entering my username and password here, I'm going to click log in or sign in with Google down here. Okay, this is very important because we actually don't have student accounts with Tynker, but we're going to use our Google accounts to get logged in. Now, because I was already logged into Google Classroom using my demo student account, okay, Tynker automatically knows that that's the account I want to log in as. So it automatically got me there. Now, for you guys, if for some reason it doesn't do it automatically, you just basically have to pick your GA school account from the list that's given you and enter your password, and you should be able to log in as I have. Okay, so the trick might be to make sure you're logged into Google Classroom first, and then when you're clicking on that link to Tynker, you should be automatically here. So let me show you really quick how the screen is laid out. And then I'm actually going to switch to my teacher account so I can show you a couple of levels um, without having to complete every level first, right? So for you, you cannot go to level 2 until you finish level 1 and so on. So everything is locked until you've completed the previous level. But because I've already completed all the levels, I'm going to be able to show you a couple levels down the road. So let me just show you though really quickly. Again, your levels or all your puzzles are going to be up here. Okay, 1 through 11 right now, but more will pop up as you go on. This XP is your experience points. So as you complete a level, you're going to gain experience points. Okay. And then right here is your student ID. This shows me that you're logged in. Make sure you're logged in properly before you start playing with these levels, or else it won't save your progress. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log out right now and switch to my teacher account. And that way, let me see if it'll let me, because I am still logged into Google Classroom as demo student. So sometimes it's a little finicky. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think it's going to let me do that. Let me go ahead and pause my video and log out of my student account first. And that way I can log in as a teacher. All right, so I finally signed back in as the teacher. Thank you for being patient as I do that. But all right, so this is what you're going to see, right? You're going to see all your levels on top. And basically, as you finish each level, you're going to then progress through those puzzles up there. So let's choose a dragon. That's the first level. We're supposed to crack an egg to hatch our dragon. I'm going to choose Harper. Okay. All right. And then you're going to basically go to the next level. Now, the first few levels, I would say probably levels 2 to 6 are pretty basic levels. And it's teaching you sequencing. So the first thing you're going to do when you get to a new level is make sure you read the instructions in the box. Okay, so in this level, level 2, your objective is to get your dragon to jump up to the next platform to reach the treasure. Okay, and it says click anywhere to continue. So we're going to go ahead and click anywhere to continue. Okay, and then this blocks screen is going to kind of pop up. And now you can toggle this screen anytime you want by clicking on this arrow up here. Okay, so here's your game screen, but in order to do your coding, you're going to click on this button right up here, okay, to get your blocks. Okay, so hopefully that was pretty straightforward. So let's see. Well, I'll walk you through one level. So your objective is to get to the treasure. So we're going to have to walk one space over, okay, and then jump up, right? So what we should have is 2 blocks, the walk block and then the jump block, okay? Once you have your blocks all snapped together, that's when you can click on the play button and your little avatar will play. Okay. So levels, I would say 2 to 6 is very straightforward. They have to do with sequencing. And sequencing in coding is very important. And it basically just says that all your blocks need to be in order. So computer program will run your code one line after another, but in the order that you put them, right? So make sure when you drag your blocks over that your code is in the order that you want them. Okay, so that's the most basic concept in coding, as basic as you can get. And then when you get to about level 6, and again, I'm going to jump to that level, so I'm not going to show you how to do every level. That's for you to figure out. But when you get to level 6, it's going to say debug the code to get the dragon to eat the ice fly. Okay, put out the fire and get the treasure. Okay, so in this game, you're gonna basically eat something special here, like ice fly or a firefly, in order to destroy objects that might be in your way. Okay, and you're gonna learn that in levels 3, 4, and 5. But I want to kind of point out this word debug. So debug just means find the bug or find the problem in your code that's causing your program to run incorrectly, and then fix it. Okay, so the code has already been given to you, but if you were to run this code, something will go wrong. So right now it says on start, walk, eat, blast, and jump. Okay, so that's the existing code that they've given you. Let's go ahead and run that code and see what happens. Okay, so it's walking, it's eating, now it's blasting, and nothing happens. And you get this error message saying, oops, that did not work. Okay, so part of your goal for this stage is to debug. So look at the code and figure out where the code might have gone wrong. So if I'm walking one step over, right? Then I'm eating this little ice fly. Okay. Then from this point on, the code is asking me to blast this little obstacle here. But when I run it, I see that it actually doesn't reach this code or this fire. So what I need to do actually is to add another walk between eat and blast so that I can get close enough to this flame in order to blast it with the ice fly. Okay, so that's what you do when you debug something. You're going to read the code to find the bug, okay, and then you're going to change the code or correct the code. Okay, now I purposely left one more bug in that code for you to figure out. Um, so you're going to have to look at what I have done and figure out what went wrong. I need one more block, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to figure out what I'm missing here because that code still didn't work. Okay, so remember, debugging is the process of finding bugs in the program and then fixing it. All right. Then when you get to about level 8, let's go to that level. Um, they're going to introduce a new concept called loops. Okay, now you might have seen loops before in other coding activities before, but this level says use a loop to make the dragon walk to the treasure. Now, this is a very straightforward stage. If you count the number of steps this dragon has to go in order to reach the treasure, you'll see that it's 5 steps. So 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, and 5, right? So you can very easily do 5 walk blocks, okay? And that would take the dragon 5 steps ahead and it would reach the treasure, right? But what the program or what the level is challenging you to do is to use a repeat block or a loop. Okay, so in computer programming, the programmers actually want to have as few of lines of code as they can. Okay, they want to make their code very concise, and they don't really like it when you have all these repeated lines of code where when you can actually just use a something called a loop to reduce the number of lines you have. Okay, so right now I have 5 lines of code that basically does the same thing. So instead of having 5 walk blocks, I can actually use a loop or a repeat block, okay, and just put the action I want to repeat 5 times, which was that walk block inside that loop. Okay, so on start, I'm going to repeat for 5 times the single action down here. So it's the walk action. Okay, so let's try to run that. And hopefully you guys understood that. That was should be a pretty straightforward concept. Okay, and that's level 8. Now, as you're going between level 8, I think it's between level 8 to 14, you're going to be working with a lot of loops. Okay, the levels will let you pass something without using a loop, but when it's asking you to do one, let's just challenge yourself to figure out how to make that loop. Okay, so let's do one more level together. This one says, use a loop to make the dragon do a triple jump and reach the treasure. Okay, so let's look. We have to basically have the dragon jump once, and then twice, and then 3 times to reach that treasure, right? So again, I can say on start, and then I can drag 3 jump blocks, and that would do the trick. But that wouldn't be the most concise way to program. So instead, we're going to use a loop. Okay. Now this time, we're going to drag the repeat block over. And instead of repeating the jump block 5 times, we're only going to repeat it for 3 times, right? Because we're doing just 3 jumps. Okay, so you can click on the box where the number is and change that number to however many times you need to repeat this action. Okay, so let's run that. And that should work. All right. Now remember, anytime you have a repeat block, okay, let me go to the next lesson before I start talking about that. All right. So sometimes your repeat block will have more than one action inside, right? So it just depends on what the pattern is that's repeating. So you might want to start off with having all those same lines of code repeating until you can see a pattern to see what's actually being repeated. And then you can put those lines into the repeat block. Okay, now for this one, I'm going to let you figure out what the pattern is, like what's the action or the event that's being repeated and how many times it's being repeated. Okay, and then what you have to do. On some levels, you might have to do something before you use that repeat block, right? So I can see from just looking at my game screen that the first thing I'm going to do is eat this little fire fly, okay? And then I'm going to walk and try to blast these logs down. Okay, but the eating of this firefly is actually not repeated. So since it's not a repeated line of code, I wouldn't put it in my loop. Okay, so just make sure you understand what needs to go into the loop and what needs to go outside of the loop. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let you finish those levels on your own. Let's look at level 14 because that was one level that I had noted on my teacher notebook. Okay. All right. So this again has something to do with patterns and repeats and loops. Okay. You need to figure out what the pattern is that's being repeated. Okay. And then put that into the repeat block. Okay. Now some actions might not be part of that pattern, and those you would leave outside of the repeat block. You might have something before that or something after. Okay. So you have to know what your pattern is before you can put it into your block. All right, so that's it for now. That's all the hints I'm going to give you for now. I'm going to let you guys try to figure out the levels on your own. Remember, 16 is our last level for the week. So after you are done with level 16, you can hit stop and log out. And then don't forget once you're done with level 16 to go back to Google Classroom and into that assignment so you can mark it as done. Okay, so even though I can see your progress from my end, you're gonna have to mark that assignment as done in Google Classroom in order for me to know that you're ready for me to grade. And also, if you don't mark it as done, you're gonna keep getting those missing assignment notifications on your end, which I know can be really annoying. So don't forget to do that. Mark something as done when you are finished in Tynker. All right, so I hope that was straightforward. If you have any questions during the week, please don't forget to email me and ask. We can meet up in a Zoom environment where I can walk you through more levels if you need. Otherwise, I'll see you Friday and we can talk more about what we've learned on that day. All right. Well, until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and have fun with this activity. Bye.